just presented the question to you. Just when I just asked you just now. Uh, so y'all, me and Ernest sitting here talking. I'm doing a recap because I feel like this is maybe one of the most important videos you will ever see. I'm recording a video, so just for 1 minute, okay? It's very important, okay? Just be super quiet for a few minutes. Y'all, we're sitting up here talking, and I'm gonna give you the background, and we'll start the conversation, and then I'm gonna try to pick up on the information that's being channeled, and then pick back up on what was being channeled right before I realized I need to record this. So we were having a conversation. Ernest had asked me if it would be helpful for him to rub my feet or anything like that, and I was like, sure. And then when he started, I started to feel like I was having mixed feelings, and so I told him, I was like, I'm struggling. He was like, what? I'm struggling to trust your intentions. I'm struggling to trust your motives. That is just one. Throughout my whole life, I've always dealt with people who had ulterior motives, whether that was in the streets or the church, whether that was in a trap house or at work, whether was that at school or, within my family. And so I know I'm not alone with this, and that's why I'm sharing this. And so what happened was, being an empath, a psychic, a medium, and an intuitive, a hypersensitive person who had to be hyper vigilant because I grew up around violence and abuse and things that were traumatizing. So that caused me to just be highly sensitive. So if you could just imagine Magneto combined with, I don't know, somebody who can hear other people's thoughts, that's me. And I have had to practice being able to air bend, to be able to bend my thoughts, because it will drive you crazy. So we've been so excited about coming online again, feeling again, not being numb again, having telepathy, being able to feel what other people are feeling, being able to feel what the tree is feeling, being able to feel what the ocean is saying, being able to get messages from the sun just by being in the sun or sun gazing, being able to hear the moon speak to you. Like, that's exciting. We're coming into the avatar depiction of the awakening, right? Where everything is, there's this interconnectedness of everything, and that everything that you can feel, touch, see, smell, hear, taste is so much deeper than that. There is this energetic frequency. There's this invisible energy moving through everything, and so it's exciting. But do y'all know the downside? The downside is we don't know how to be sensitive in a way that matches the abilities that we are coming into using. So, perfect example, our 5-year-old, she is naturally an oracle. She says things that, after you've had 50 people, strangers and people that know you well, say, oh my gosh, how does she know that? Teachers, oh my gosh, she taught the class about the reproduction system of birds and how they survive in the wild. Did y'all watch a documentary on birds? I'm like, no, we didn't. We've had this happen so many times. So she's an oracle. She can tap into energy. She reads energy so good. She can read your energy before you even know that you're in the energy. And she'll call you out on it, and you're like, no, I'm not upset, no, I'm not, everything's good. And she's just like, but your energy isn't telling me that, but I feel something. And it's difficult because we were raised where, like, kids should be seen and not heard. Shut the hell up and sit down. And now you have this child that has all this ancient wisdom and knowledge coming through them, and you don't know what to do, and you don't know how to be sensitive to them. You don't know how to be sensitive to, oh my gosh, my balloon just flew away and it feels like my world is ending. And because a lot of us were raised by parents who had a lot of narcissistic qualities, just like we do with everybody else, it's just not to demonize them. They did the best they could with what they had. but we were raised by people. We come from a lineage of people who it did not benefit you to be sensitive. You come into a world where it's dog eat dog. You come into a world where the people that's on top are the people that are savage. You come into a world where you're forced to be savage to survive. You're forced to be in fight or flight to survive. Like, that shit is programmed in our genetics for those of us who are descendants of slaves. And so what happens is now we're having to elevate our level of sensitivity so that we can have a restoration of balance with the psychic abilities and the gifts and all the things coming online. So this is stuff like in your relationship. It might be something that's going to happen 2 months from now and you already feeling it, and you can't explain why you feeling like you feeling, but you just feeling disconnected. You just feeling like, I can't trust this person. I don't know why. Me and Ernest been working on trust. He's done things that made it really hard for me to trust him. So for a very long time, I didn't even trust his touch. I didn't trust his word. I didn't trust his conversation. I didn't trust him telling me where he was really at and what he was really doing. And so with my background, as I already expressed to y'all can imagine what this like. And then you throw all the psychic abilities and the ability to be a seer and oracle and go into the Akashic records on top of that, and that shit can be very chaotic. So y'all, we have to work on our ability to be sensitive to each other as we're going through this awakening, because it's going to do everybody different. It might be some similar flavors, but trust me, everybody is going to have similar experiences, but it's not going to be fully the same. And so as we are going through this awakening, and specifically right now today, which is September the 22nd, rest in peace, raise in power. No, don't rest in peace. Raise in power and do what the hell you want to do, because you don't have a 3D physical body. My sister passed away today, actually, y'all. So yeah, we celebrate that because you get free from the 3D matrix. You know what I'm saying? You want to celebrate when people transition. But with that being said, as we're going into 4D, 5D, if we do not master the ability to be sensitive, the spiritual gifts, these abilities that we are starting to get, all of us are getting them. All of us, our telepathy is going up and up and up and up and up, and you may not even really notice it, but it's happening. So I'm going to go back and look at the statistic because I want to make sure that it's accurate. But I know probably only 10% of communication is verbal. All the rest of it is energetic. So many of us, we don't know how to have one motive. We don't know how to have one intention. We don't even know how to control our mind for 5 seconds. Stare into the flame of a candle and practice not thinking about anything else except for just being present with that flame, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And this is just something that we have to practice. You're not going to get it the first time, maybe not the second, maybe not the third. I had this conversation with y'all with the light code that I got about a month and a half ago, where don't get frustrated with your process. Practice makes perfect. Just keep doing it. Some research says after you do something 66 times, it starts to finally remold and reshape the neurology, your neurological system. It begins to reshape the neurons and the patterns that they create within the brain to send new signals. So we have to continue to work on healing our subconscious programming, healing our epigenetics, intentionally meditating, saying, I know that this is an issue that is in my bloodline. I need to acknowledge this, and if I don't have a tool to use to heal this, I need to attract one. So let me get in the receptive mode and let me find something that resonates. This is what we must do, because we are coming into a dangerous place where you have all of these people becoming X-Men, but there is no one to teach them how to control the mind, how to control the monkey mind that is always talking, how to have a healthy balance with the shadow self, how to allow the higher self to show up in your relationships and not your wounded self, how to discern when it's the wounded self reacting, the ego, which is a reactor. The ego is like an atomic bomb reactor. That's what it does. It's a nuclear reactor. The ego is there to protect, and it will destroy anyone and anything if it's making you not feel safe. So for those of you who's like, I don't know how to get my ego out the way, I just told you. So doing the root chakra balancing, we have the Arcturian chakra meditation on the channel. Go and do that. I'm going to create a whole new meditation simply focused on the root chakra because I'm beginning to get a bigger piece of this puzzle and how important it is. So I'm going to be able to integrate all of these light codes that I've been getting and that you're getting now into that meditation. So just be patient with me, continue to send good vibes. I'm working on creating that. But it's something else that I want to channel and say to you. And my intention was to do the collective reading today. It almost feel like I don't even need to pull no cards. I just need to allow this to flow. Because this is the activator, light code activator that y'all been needing. That we all been needing. So look, let me kind of recap, and I want to give an example. I'm going to tell y'all why this is so important. Because again, just imagine all of these people with these abilities, they're going to go rogue because they don't know how to have balance. You walking around, your telepathy is increasing, and you don't even know that 90% of your energetic communication is coming from your wounded self. So what happens is your ability to project energy is intensifying if you are awakening. And so what happens is people become a target unconsciously just because you are unconscious in that moment and unaware. And you will find yourself like a dragon spitting fire on people that you care about, and it's not even your intention. And then when you see the damage that is done from whatever the words that cut that you said, or it may not have been words, again, we got to get away from, I didn't even say nothing wrong. It's not about what you say. It's about the energy and what it is communicating. So we want to get away from being so fixated on the words, because you can be saying, I love you so much. And then energetically, you could be saying, but I resent you so much, because your wounded self has taken the wheel in that moment. And so I asked Ernest, how do we fix this? How do we stop sending a bunch of signals in one action, causing a reaction that it wasn't our intention? Like, what do we do? How do we fix this? Do I need to fix me? Because what happens is, and I'm speaking from being an intuitive and an empath, what happens is if 40% of what he's saying is what he's saying it is, but 60 is something else, I'm overwhelmed by the 60 that he's not communicating, and he may not have said it because he's not even aware energetically that is happening inside of him. So with us being twin flames, that means that we have this direct connection, and it's very hard to sever. Okay, it's hard to sever the connection. It's like being on FaceTime with somebody, and they like, okay, I'm gonna talk to you later, and they doing something and you really don't even want to see what they doing, but you can see it, and you can't see. You're trying to hang it up, and you can't. That's what it's like to be me. That's what it's like to be an empath, intuitive, psychic, seer, oracle. That's what it's like to be awakening. At some point, we always end up at an apex of a particular gift. So in order for us to clean this up, in order for us to be more honest transparent, vulnerable, present, authentic, genuine, and sincere in the way we show up in our relationships, the way we show up for ourselves, the way we show up for our children, and the way we show up for the world. Because we were sent here with a vision to change this world. We must practice mind control. We must practice awareness. We must practice being fully present with the things that feel uncomfortable. Letting him rub oil on me actually made me uncomfortable because I was picking up mixed signals. And so I had to surrender to the discomfort. You gotta venture into it. You can't avoid it, because that causes you to be in a state of dissociation all day long. You dissociate it because so much stuff make you uncomfortable. So when you are filled up with a lot of wounds, but you haven't started putting stuff in you to supplement the deficiencies, then it's hard for you to surrender to uncomfortable moments and say, okay, I just surrender to this moment. Maybe I don't feel safe. I don't feel like I can fully trust this moment, but I'm going to surrender to this moment, as difficult as it is. Let's just see what happens. So I could be reliving a rape in that moment. I could be reliving being molested in that moment, of feeling that very first touch from somebody who I thought loved and cared about me, but then they had this other little really kind of messed up part of them that was broken by somebody else, and now is projecting itself into my reality onto me. So as we are healing these traumas, and as we are jumping timelines, and we're trying to choose the timeline that's best for the reality that our heart is in alignment with, that we came here, we know it's our truth, we know this is where we are supposed to exist, be, live, and have our beingness. As we are doing that, this may be happening to you too. And it can be confusing. And it can really be confusing to the person that maybe you are dealing with. If you're dealing with somebody in a relationship, or even your children, like, Daddy, why you acting like that? Mama, why you acting like that? Because you're having a moment where you're reliving trauma. And so I think one of the answers to the question is, how do we fix this? You know, how do we learn how to send strong signals to where people, even if they have a history of not feeling safe, they're like, but the energy that you are conducting is so strong and so specific, and the intention is so pure and clear. I feel the trigger and the discomfort coming up, but I trust what you're saying because the energy feels so laser focused that this is really all it is. You are just giving love to me right now in this moment. That is one of the keys to fixing this. So if you be all over the place, if your mind is all over the place, energetically you are all over the place, and there's no telling what entities could be attached to you in that moment. So what you're saying, what you're trying to communicate, and what you're trying to do is getting interference. So it feels staticky. It might feel like static to me, because I'm picking up on all these different channels, channels steady changing, and like, no, you're listening to the R&B station that you like, but I'm like, damn, I just heard country music. Damn, where did rock and roll come from? Damn, was that blue? What? It's confusing. So we have to practice learning how to conduct specific energies through our body. So if your intention is to be compassionate, then you have to practice being compassionate and nothing else. This is the mindfulness practice that we must have, so that not only can we learn how to be more sensitive to each other, but so that we can know how to be sensitive enough to ourselves to not run from our own discomfort, and to not run from our own inner critical voice. For those of you with children, our children are very unique. They are nothing like us, and they cannot be raised the way your parents raised you. I'm sorry. If you keep saying shit like, well, that's what my parents did. Well, I turned out fine. Well, no, your ass did not turn out fine, because you wouldn't be listening to me now if you turned out fine. You're here because you have a desire to heal, to be better, to self-realize, to find your true identity, to not the identity that you was given, but you're wanting to figure out what is the frequency that feels authentic to who I am right now. And it may be very different from my family and what they believe and what they did and how they raised kids. To those of you who've had children, don't let anybody tell you how to raise your children. Because they were not given those souls to nurture and to grow and support. And our children are not in our lives for us to mold them into who we want them to be. They're in our lives for us to support them, to allow them the sacred space to discover who they came here to be. And the reason why the world is so effed up now is because a lot of us were not allowed to be who we came here to be. So we're finding ourselves in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, still trying to find out who you are. And in order for that to stop, this is where it will start. So look, meditation. There are many different forms of meditation. The ones we share with y'all might not be what's best for you. You might need to do mindful meditation where you're actually up doing something, like cleaning up. Anything that's a repetitive action is going to help your mind to learn how to get on one frequency band, one bandwidth, and stick within that bandwidth. That's going to stop the mixed signals. That's going to stop the confusion and allow for clarity. That's going to allow for deeper bonding to happen. A lot of us don't feel bonds with people because we're so fragmented and broken. We have so many different compartments where we stuff shit into because it just feels like too much to face. But you're able to face it now because the energy on the planet is supporting us to be able to face this. Daughter Earth, we call her Mother Earth, but I call her Daughter Earth because I feel like the Great Mother and Earth is just as above, so below, an element of the Great Mother. But I mean, to each his own, whatever resonates for you. But the energy is present for us to be able to do this. So venture into the darkness, y'all. Okay? Darkness hovered above. Everything came from darkness first, not from light. And so a lot of the beautiful things that you want to manifest in your life, you want to achieve, a lot of the things you want to heal and be able to do, it can only be attained by you going and getting the keys out of the dark room. The keys will not be in a well-lit room. The keys to where you're trying to go will be in the dark room. Okay? Because everything begins in darkness. One last thing. The reason why the potions work so good. I even asked my guides, why are my potions working so well for people? Like, I thought it was just working for me. And then now I'm getting reviews. And it's because I've had to be a mental alchemist to deal with sickle cell, to deal with abuse by physicians and nurses. I've been overdosed in the hospital just because somebody didn't want to have to walk down the hall to administer pain medication to me every 4 to 6 hours. So they would give me 2 and 3 doses at one time to knock me out. And it gave me a seizure. A lot of shit happened to me. And when you are going through that, to not die, your willpower, your determination, and your mind have to grab a hold to one thought and hold on to it. It can't be no 65%, 70% that you believe you go survive. 100% of my mind had to say, I'm going to survive. I am going to survive. And I had to do that so much. And I spent years and years and years, like, I'm not saying I'm the best person in the world, but damn, what the hell did I do to have to go through this? And I get it now. It trained me. That was my training. So I've trained myself to be able to have one thought, one intention. And this is why I can channel. Because I'm able to let my ego step back. I'm able to let my wounded self step back. I'm able to even allow the shit that I think I know. Because a lot of us are know-it-alls. We got so much knowledge and technology at our fingertips. You might not know that you act like a know-it-all. But most of us do. And this is the downside of being in the information age, where knowledge was going to go from one end of the earth to the other and reach the 4 corners of the earth. And so a lot of us got a part of ourselves that's very, I know everything. Whatever I don't know is two seconds away. you can't tell me shit energy. And you might not know you do that, but we all doing it. We all doing it. And so you just want to be aware of that. But with the potions, when I create a third eye potion, the whole time I'm doing that, it could be a span of days, weeks, months, I don't touch it. I don't touch not one ingredient, not one crystal, not one oil, and I do not permit thoughts to rotate in my mind that are not in alignment with the potion that I'm creating. That is how you make a potent potion. It's not just the quality of the products that you're putting in it. Number one, it is you. We are energy. We are particles. We are waveforms. We are quantum. We are multidimensional. We are alchemists. We are magicians. We are gods and goddesses having this experience. We are extensions of source. We are co-creators. And this is a great responsibility. And yes, it comes with a lot of perks. And it's so good now that we're getting this connected. But what's happening is it feels like salt is being poured in our wounds. And sometimes the people that we're dealing with, that's really not what they're trying to do. But this is just the gumbo of when you put all of this shit in a pot together. So we must learn how to have focused intent. We must learn how to clear our energy. We must learn how to be aware of when entities are attaching to us, our consciousness, our mind, our mental, and they're trying to manipulate us. We must learn how to be aware of that. You may not know how to clear it and fix it every single time, but you must learn how to be aware of when it happens. So with that being said, I will be making more third eye potions very soon. I also will be doing more, doing the chakras. Wait, I will be doing the potion for the root chakra soon. Again, my energy has to be 100% focused on what I'm doing because I don't want to put mixed signals in my potions. Like, that's just my guides, my spirit guides and the ancestors just not gonna let it go down like that. So, thank y'all for just being a part of this process, for seeing divinity within us as we acknowledge the divinity within you. We appreciate you. And I'm not going to pull cards today. The energy reading for this week, this is how it came through. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't. Check out the website. If you know somebody who you feel like is on this wave, and is feeling this vibe, or maybe somebody who's just now awakening and may need this and may need some guidance, share this with them. And if this resonated with you, let us know, because we need to have dialogue with other people who are awakening, because we're going to have to know how to be more supportive of each other than we have been in the past. And so on the new earth, there are just some things that we have lived by that we can no longer live by. A lot of those things must die. So continue to do all of the things that you're doing and continue to seek for what is authentic to you. And we appreciate y'all again. All right, as we always say, man, your third eye has just been kissed. Peace.